Hey folks, this is Vince with Anti-Gaming Addiction, and welcome to another episode of Vintage Story. Today we're going to talk about the Iron Age, so lots of smelting, lots of blacksmithing, and so on. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing you're going to need is a bloomery, but to make the bloomery, you need some fire clay bricks, and for that, you're going to need some fire clay, and for that, you're going to need some regular clay, like red or blue, along with some flint. So find a bunch of flint and cook it in a fire pit for a while. You'll end up with some calcined flint chunks. Now go ahead and bring those calcined flint chunks over to the quern, I always screw up that word, and grind it up in there, and you'll end up with some powdered calcined flint. Using your 3x3 crafting window, put the powdered calcined flint in the middle and surround it with whatever clay you happen to have. I use red because it's more abundant. And I go ahead and just craft fire clay from there. Now, if you remember from my previous video, that fire clay can be used to make the clay oven, but we're going to take it a step further this time. In your 3x3 crafting window, go ahead and put the fire clay in there in the shape of a square, a 2x2 square. That'll create some raw fire clay bricks, but you're not done with it yet. You have to actually cook them in a fire kiln. Now, you folks should know how to do this by now. You're going to dig a single hole, and you're going to put the raw bricks in there. The hole can hold up to 12, so I like to make my batches in 12 so that everything fits all nice and neat. And then you're going to go ahead and put the dry grass in there, and the sticks, and then finally the firewood, and then you set it on fire and leave it for a while. With your fire clay bricks all done, again, you'll have to wait a while, you can go ahead and make the bottom half and the top half of the bloomery. Each is its own recipe. And rather than describe it to you, I'm just going to show it to you on the screen here. Go ahead and create the bottom half and the top half. And then once you've done that, you're going to put the bottom half down first somewhere and put the top half right on top of it. You'll be using the bloomery to process iron bits and quartz. The whole overview is you're going to be throwing either iron or quartz in there, along with some charcoal to fuel it, light it on fire, and wait a while. Now, as far as finding iron, that's maybe a little bit tough. Luckily, I found some pretty early on in my playthrough, and that's done through prospecting. I'm not going to go through the whole prospecting method again, but I'll give you a quick rundown of what to look for. Now, while you're doing your prospecting and looking for iron, you may come across some mineral names that you may not be familiar with. When it comes to iron, you're going to look for hematite, limonite, I may be mispronouncing that, and magnetite. Those are the three different types of minerals that will create iron for you whenever you process them. It's worth mentioning real quick that bloomeries are one-time use. You'll have to destroy them in order to get the processed stuff inside. You'll get a partial refund on the bricks, but you'll have to rebuild it. Throwing iron chunks and charcoal into a bloomery will get you iron blooms. We'll talk about those in a minute. Throwing quartz and charcoal into a bloomery will get you glass. And glass is used for a number of things, but primarily I use it for creating greenhouses. These are structures that will extend the length of time crops or bees have to actually work. Because when winter rolls around, crops won't, they'll die off because of the winter weather, and bees won't work. I'm very far north in my playthrough, so even the greenhouse isn't fully protecting the bees and the crops. At some point, they're just not going to work. Now, if you're further south in your playthrough, you might be able to get the greenhouse to get your crops and bees to work all year long. When it comes to iron blooms, you're going to go ahead and put the iron bloom into a forge, put some charcoal in there, and warm it up, so that you can then mold it onto the anvil. Now, the anvil needs to be bronze tier or higher. As I said in the previous video, you'll need a bronze anvil, which requires 900 units of molten bronze, so just be wary of that before you try to start working on these iron blooms. Once the bloom is hot enough, you can then transfer it over to the anvil. Again, make sure you've got tongs in your offhand so you don't burn yourself. So whenever you do put that bloom onto the anvil, you'll notice a bunch of these black squares with purple borders. That's like slag, and you want to get rid of that by using the split feature in your hammering process. So hammer out and split all of the black bits, the slag, from the iron bloom that you're working on, and then reshape it into an ingot. Once you're done, you can then reuse the ingot on the anvil to select a particular work recipe. And you've seen this before, making copper tools and bronze tools. I would recommend the pickaxe first. I mean, stronger pickaxes in a game like this are always good to have. You're going to need a lot of plates if you intend to make like chainmail, that kind of thing. It all depends on what you're going after, but go ahead and spend some time getting familiar with all of these different recipes, making a whole bunch. The act of getting this iron processed is going to take you quite a while. And with that said, congratulations, you now have iron tools. Granted, it's not the most efficient way to make them, but now you've got iron tools. So, thanks a lot for watching. If you guys haven't already subscribed, that way you can stay up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vin, thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Take care.